Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how to fix the compass temperature display on a rearview mirror like this. These came in most GM vehicles of the late 90s and early 2000s. This is a 2003 Silverado. So as you see, I put the key in ignition, the hour gauges turn on, and this light comes on, so I know there's power getting to it, but this does not. So I'm going to show you how to fix that, so let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is tilt the mirror down as far as you can first. You're going to find this little electrical connector. You're just going to, on the left side, if you're looking at it from this way, on the left side there's a little pinch tab and just pull straight up and out. So that's going to be your main connector. And then you're already up here, you can take that out as well. That's another clip. So next, what you're going to do is flip this up, and under there will be a Torx bit right there. So let me go get that and I'll tell you what size it is. Alright, so this Torx bit is a T20, and all you're going to do is it should be pretty loose already. It shouldn't be that tight to start with. But you're going to take that out and make sure the bolt does not fall when you're taking it out. After that comes out, I'll show you what to do next. Alright, so after you get that bolt out, there should be nothing else holding this in place. So you're just going to pull up, and there you go. So that is all the way out, and that little plastic clip will just come out. And inside there is that one wire, but that wire is just to your compass, I believe, or the thermostat. I don't know quite which one. But that's how you just get the main part out. So now we can take this inside and disassemble it. Alright, so the first step, and probably the hardest step, is going to be taking this thin little piece of plastic. You can see where the seam is. What you're going to do is you're going to get like a screwdriver or a pry tool behind here, and you just have to go all the way around it. The clips are mainly in the corners, so you just have to work at it. You just have to work through all the corners and get all the clips undone. You might need two screwdrivers, one to hold it while you pry the other one. But like there's one there's unclipped right there. We're going to do that all the way around and try to be careful as not to scratch the trim. As you can see, it's once you get one, they just all start to come out. So if you can find where yours is the easiest to start, that might be best. Just like that. And the face comes off. Alright, so the next step you're going to do is to take this part. Yours might be glued like mine. If it is, you're just going to take it like that and pull up a little bit, and it'll come out into pieces just like that. These little foam pads, just through heat, obviously, they're going to heat sink a little bit. Then now you just have to detach the two positive and negative iodes, which they just slide off one way, which I would suggest going towards the closest direction to get it off. Just remember that the top is positive and that the bottom is negative, because that way you put it back together properly. The next step is going to be unplugging this little connector. It just pulls off just like that, and then these little things just simply lift up and out of place. You can see how they're just shoved through the motherboard right there. And then that brings us to this little LED screen, which is just to illuminate whether or not the airbag is on or off. You can see the LEDs in there, right there. So here's the screen we're working on. So now you have the motherboard. We can flip it over, and I'll show you what the main problem is. Alright, so the main issue lies on these three little resistors that lower the amps to the screen over here. The issue is that the solder joints crack over the heat just due to it being, this is how it sits, like this, and all the heat from the sun is just going against it right there. I mean, as you can see, it's has its fair share of heat damage. But the main issue are one or all three of these, one side of the solder joint is cracked, and that is why occasionally the display will work, but not all the time. So we're going to go ahead and resolder these joints and then put it back together and see if it works. Alright, so now that you have resoldered these, there's a little bit of solder on them, you can go ahead and reassemble it. You're going to start with the motherboard. You're going to put that in, put the clip in on the back, and then push it into place. There'll be some guide pins. And after you get all that lined up, you also want to make sure you lined up the outlet on the back. And as you see, that sensor back there is lined up as well. After you get all that lined up, you can go ahead and put your compass and temperature buttons back on, along with your passenger airbag. You can see where it lines up on the holes. See where the holes line up. And then you can get to work on putting this back on. Remember, the top slide is the positive and the bottom slide is the negative. Alright, after you get it all nice and popped back into place together, you can double check, make sure that sensor back there and that is all lined up. And the sensor up here is lined up. And you can see the passenger airbag sign. So let's go ahead and put this back in the truck and test it. So what I'm doing is I'm just plugged it in. I'm just gonna let it dangle, so that way we can turn the truck on. And we can turn temperature, press the temp gauge, and as we can see, we get a reading. If we turn it this way, we can see that the gauge is indeed working northwest. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this fully mounted, and as you can see, it probably is in night mode due to how dark it is in here. Once we get it fully in, you'll be able to see it better. So after you get all these little plastic pieces back in, this one just slides into place there, and it extends up and into the headliner. You can then tilt this back up, and you can grab your bolt. Remember, it's very tiny, and it's just going to go in there, right up in there, and secure it. Alright, now that all the bolts and all the plastic covers are back in, we'll put the key in ignition and turn it over. We can see all the systems load on. Temperature is about accurate, it's about 2 degrees off. But that's all. So we start the truck, everything stays on. You can still turn it back on and off if you wish. Alright. Well, hope this helps. See you next time.